Hey folks, it's Ardwulf. Welcome. Pardon any noise that might occur from the traffic in the background, but we're going to have a look today at a brand new product from Columbia Games, which they were kind enough to send me a PDF copy of. This is the city of Azadmere, the dwarven capital on the island of Harn, and it is definitely the most exhaustive treatment of this topic. So we've already talked about the kingdom of Azadmere. I'll put a link in the upper corner to that video if you want to check that out. I would recommend checking that out first before watching this video. So let's take a look at the brand new City of Azadmere article. Okay, so as you can see, we start off with a 32-page article, and as these are all nowadays, these are full color, and it is a city with a population of 4,100 Kuzdul, those are the Harnic dwarves, and 1,800 humans. The Kingdom of Azadmere, as I think we've talked about in the previous video, does have a substantial human population as well. There's more humans living there than dwarves, and they are subjects of the Dwarven King. They are generally followers of the god CM, who we can talk about now that we've done a video on the gods of Harn. But we can see that we have some property taxes and fees and stuff that are here. Pilotage and wharfage sounds like it's going to be weird, but there is there is river access to Azadmere, so they do have some river traffic. And it's up in the mountains. It's a rich kingdom, I think you'll see from the elaborateness of the architecture and the structures here. And we have art here by Richard Luschek. If you search for Richard's name, I'll see if I can remember to put a link to his YouTube channel in the video description. He's actually done a lot of like 3D video fly-throughs of these locations that he's doing art for Columbia Games. So, and also I want to point out that because this wasn't the case for many years, Columbia Games has been pretty good in recent years about doing quarterly releases of, in many cases, but not all cases, new material and revisions of old material. And the revisions of the old material always end up being like substantial revisions. So page 1, we get basics of the city itself, who runs it. It's run by the king, as you would expect. We have this map, which shows you the different districts of the city. We have canal sides. So you have, the city's on kind of like a mountainside overlooking a lake. And there is a canal cut from the lake, which fades the moat as well. Several bridges over that canal. And then that actually leads into the underground part of the city. Human residents of the city of Azadmere generally live in what's called the outer city, which is what we see on this map. And then the inner city is the part carved into the mountain. That's the dwarfy part. And humans are not often allowed access in there. So, important human subjects of the king might be invited in from time to time, but generally speaking, it's a big deal if you're asked into the inner city. And then we have the districts here. We also have a location index, which tells you where the specific guilds are located in the city. There is a temple called the Greymere Hall of the Inner Eye, which we'll take a look at that when we get to it. It's probably a temple of Siam. And then there's a keep overlooking the whole thing that sits like 300 feet on the cliffside up here above the city. Defenses. Azadmere boasts the finest and most impressive defenses on Harn. That's because it's built by dwarves, and it's carved into the mountain, which, as you can imagine, does add to its defensibility. There's a couple of different gates. There's also a Kir Azane, which is how I would pronounce it. Don't vouch for the authenticity of that, which is that keep sitting on top of the mountain. And it's oldest surface fortification on Harn, completed in 6700 BT. That is before Tuzin, which is currently 720 Tuzin Reckoning, which is the current calendar. I also will point out that all Harn products, whether they're the old ones or the new ones or whatever, are all 720 Tuzin Reckoning. They all set up metaplot, but there is no advancing metaplot and never has been. So it's all up to you and your campaign as to what direction your Harn will go in. And that was an intentional choice by the designer that was discussed in the designer's notes of one of the very early editions. So, next we have Heston, which is the government district. That's this area up here, and we have a bunch of different buildings here, including a palace. The city's best inn. There's like a standard quality measure here, quality and price measures, which tell you like somewhere, I think in the Cities and Towns article, which is a free article. You can get it from either Columbia Games or Drive-Thru RPG, just like the Azadmere module. So it's a 1 through 5 star quality rating, and it's a, low, medium, or high, price rating, and there is a little table in that article that tells you that turns into like 150 percent cost or something like that, maybe 200% cost. The Greymere Hall of the Inner Eye is the closest thing to a temple in Azadmere. Private chambers are available for guests to meditate or pray. So it sounds like it is kind of a pantheon temple, and it's operated by the Hardicanes, a mixed clan. Mixed in this case means, I think, that their members include both dwarves and humans, which is the thing. A lot of the functions of guilds in human society on Harn are performed by clans among both the Kuzdal and the Avinians, actually. And at some point, there's a video on Avinia too, which you can check out in the channel. We'll be dealing more with Avinia in the future because it's neat. Because everybody loves Vikings. Karasat, which is the commercial district, that's over here. And we can see that probably the quality is going to tend to be pretty high here in Azadmere City, as you can imagine. Some pictures by Mr. Luchek, whose art I really like, by the way. Here's Canal Side, which is also like a crafts type of district, but these are kind of like the really important crafts, the metalsmiths, the weapon crafters, and the favored crafts are kind of here instead of in the other district. And they're, of course, on the canal. So there's probably some warehousing on the canal as well. Although that big building is actually this building right here is actually a metalsmith. We get nice little descriptions, which are rich with plot hooks, and we're not gonna explore every single paragraph here, but these descriptions are rich with plot hooks. So, for example, this is Cliffside, which is mostly residential, has broad, quiet streets. Most residents are Jaren, which are the local humans, and there's some Kuzdal or mixed clans here. The Warden Ravenmaster. The Kuzdal have a special reverence for ravens. Some even consider them to be Ilsiri or spirit folk. The highly intelligent birds are used to carry messages from Azadmere City to Zerhun, which is a pretty strongly fortified dwarven citadel to the south. The inner ring of forts and even Tashal. Invalid veterans of Clan Kurdin assist the Raven Master in caring for his charges. So right there we have plot hooks. The ravens did not appear today. The Raven Master requests your aid. I mean, right there we have I picked this paragraph completely at random that I've never read before. And I have a story idea from this. And so much of the Harn material has that. Just a texture and richness of plot hooks. I'm gushing now. That one does not see as often in other settings. Let me put it that way. Even where those settings might themselves be interesting in many ways. And then we have Tanis, which is home to the clanless Jaren. That is this village sort of outside the walls of the city. We'll notice that the towers of Azadmere are round. Most towers on Harn are square because they're easier to build. The dwarves and the better construction, Burzin, which was built by dwarves originally, which is the capital of Kabissa, also has round towers. One of relatively few locations in Harn that has that. So we have that, and then we have some stuff on the inner city. Now, I will flatly tell you that I wish there was more on the inner city, because clearly there's like a huge portion of city carved into this mountain that we don't get to see in this map. Some of the stuff just rolls right off the edge of the map and so forth. There are secret passages here. I don't want to spoil anything, but I mean, it's an underground dwarven city. There are secret passages. I'm not spoiling anything by telling you this. And then this, there's multiple levels of this as well. And then level 1 is like slightly above the street level of the city. Level 2 is probably higher than that. It is. And as we go up and up and up and up, we get more and more and more, detail. And there are still a lot, even though I'd like to see a really comprehensive treatment, this leaves you room to develop some stuff on your own. And there's still kind of a lot here. And then here's the third level, which is pretty much the king's personal hideout. And then we get some little plans of the docks inside the canal, that the terminus of the canal. This also provides water to the underground city, by the way. And this is where boats can come in and get unloaded, and then they get sent back on their way. And then here we have more interiors, which are, pretty tight. So the keys for this is in the Harn map keys document, which again is another one of the free documents. You can get it from either Columbia or from DriveThruRPG. I think in my recent reorganization of Harn material, I ended up with like 4 copies of that. Additional detail. Here's Kir Azane, or I could swear it's spelled differently here than it was on the first page. It totally is. It's AHZ here. It's AZH at the bottom. So I'm going to call it Azane because I think it sounds cool. But you get complete floor plans of this thing as well. And it's, it's not an incredibly elaborate fortress, but don't forget it's on top of a mountain that is riddled with dwarven tunnels and stuff like that too. So, and then here we have the player version of the map. And then we have some additional supplementary material, which is Azadmere City B4. I'm not sure what B4-1... B4-2, 3 and 4, E8, 1. So the E8 is, these are the individual building codes. So if you need additional detail on building G7, here it is. And it's nice that we see this too. And as you can see, there's a lot going on here as well. And then we have a sheet of discrete adventure hooks with 3 different little mini plot seeds here. And then what looks like 5 notable personalities. This is in addition to like the king, who gets his treatment more in the Azadmere Kingdom article. These are some important people. Some of the characters mentioned here, it doesn't specify whether they are human or Kuzdul. That is intentional, having heard the writer of the article, who is, if we look at this, and Robin Crosby, Tom Douglas, Edwin King, Carrie Mold. I think it's Carrie that said this. In some cases, that's left up to you intentionally. Matt Rogner and Jonathan Davidson. So a lot of new material here in Azadmere City. 32-page article from Columbia Games, just released as of early April 2021. So I would like to say thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel for more Harn and other goodness. And please do click the bell icon to get notified when new content comes out. Please mention in the comments below if there's any more Harn material you would like to see, or any other material for that matter, but this is the Harn video, so do it here. And if you'd like to help support Ardwulf's Lair, it would be greatly appreciated. You can check out the Patreon and the merch store, both of which are linked in the video description. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, happy gaming.